chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You even hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Good afternoon, Cayman Islands, and good morning to our global family. Welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Yes, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I'm your host, Sabrina, and I am happy to be back with you on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, it's all about tea and those little scones, yeah, or scones, however you pronounce them. Just a little kicks and giggles here for you. I'm going to get my links up in a second. I see you there. But yeah, we're diving into the heartbeat of our democracy this evening. Again, yes, the soul of our community. And we'll touch a little bit about the health of our nation as well. No guest today. Again, just you and me. I saw the feedback. I got the feedback from yesterday as well. And thank you for those who shared their opinions, and most welcome, informative, engaging, and yeah, that's how we love it. And let me get my link here. Just let me get my people here. 1 second for me. Yeah, so we are going to be doing it no different this evening. We are going to continue into discussions. We're going to be looking at some headlines. Just let me get back here. Those Instagram people there on the CMR TV platform. Yep, there we go. Now we should be rocking and rolling, letting them know. What did I do? I think I did something weird there, Sandra. Yeah, I did. Oh, did I ever? Yes, I did. Hold on. Let me do this. We're going to have to amend that, my sweet. There we go. I pasted it in the wrong place. So for all of you looking for that Instagram link, I will share that link up with you in a second. There we go. Yeah. Hey, Costa Rica's in the house. Oh boy, we're making our waves. I'll do the link again for you, Sandra. 1 second. Costa Rica's in the house. Really? Good evening and welcome. How are you? How's it down there? We're good to have you from all over the world. I'll tell you, we get people from all over the world in the region. Our brothers and sisters are all over the place. And yes, we are live. And Instagram. We love to have you with us. Yeah, it's good to know. And that's why I like when you put it up in the comments that you're joining us live. Just let me do this link. There we go. Oops. Yeah, we just love it when you actually let us know where you're actually viewing us from, and that's always a good thing. I think we did it there. There we go. Yeah, so it's good to be back with you. We know that, hey, Mitzi, we know that tomorrow is our parliament and it meets they're going to be debating the national budget under this new administration. And this isn't just politics. No, it's about priorities. And pretty much what that sitting is, it's about, here we go. It's about that is tomorrow. It isn't just about politics, it's about priorities, what gets funded, what gets left behind if needs be, and what it says about who we are. Now, we'll also, in this episode, I promise, or I hope to break down exactly what it means and how it connects to the last sitting of the House. Remember the strategic policy statement, some of those things, how will they get funded? And why every Caymanian should be listening closely. Yep, I see you there, you brute. Then we'll shift the gears a little bit to honor those who are actually uplift us. Now we realize that what's made publicly is Her Excellency the Governor has opened up nominations for the King's Birthday Honors, and we'll talk about what this recognition means. We'll talk about what this recognition means, and we will actually share the link with you on how you can nominate persons right here for the King's Birthday Honors. We'll also take a little bit, and I got a video here to share for all of you Beckham fans. We'll talk about what this recognition means, how it ties even into the David Beckham's knighthood earlier on today, and why it's time to celebrate our own locals. And then finally, as I said, we'll look into the 2 cases confirmed for hand, foot, and mouth disease. And there's 2 confirmed cases here in the Cayman Islands with our little young ones. What is it? Who's most at risk? And how can we protect our children in our community? So I'm inviting you to stay with me. Cayman, let's unpack these headlines and much more. Again, we'll take it where you want to go. You saw how that worked yesterday in honoring our people, protecting our future together. Now, the contents you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and our participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. And I know we have a caller already on hold, but just let me do what I do best at the beginning, because I'm realizing based on feedback, people like when I give these weather updates. I didn't realize that there was really a need for that, but since Melissa, people have really liked how I started the show with the weather. But the afternoon's forecast, and let's go straight into the synopsis. There are some cloudiness and showers that are expected for the next 24 hours in association with a surface trough over the Northwest Caribbean. Now, radar images shows isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west. Our forecast tonight calls for partly cloudy skies with 30% chance of overnight showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Now, tomorrow's forecast right now, partly cloudy skies with 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to northeast, 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Now, some seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Today's high tide will be at 7:59 p.m. Tomorrow's low tide 2:40 a.m. with another high expected at 9:27 in the morning and a low at 3:27 in the afternoon. Sunset will set in a 5:49 this evening. You're realizing the sun is setting earlier. And sunrise will rise tomorrow at 6:29. Now, the outlook is for partly cloudy skies with a few afternoon showers, and that goes through Friday. So there you have it. You've seen it on their screen, and it's good to be back here with you. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind? You're live.
I'm doing a birthday shout out for a big comedian friend of mine. I meet him 3 times. I know this is not his name. This was his stage name. But I'm giving a big, and I hope, I don't know if he's in Jamaica where he is, but he was my favorite comedian besides Miss Lou. Well, I never met her, but I met him. Oliver, you last
Oh, Oliver at large. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the one that said Boxman. Today is his birthday. I was thinking today was the second. And then I see he born in 1948. And then I met her. One time we went to Jamaica. She was the second dark-skinned Jamaican that was crowned Miss Jamaica in 1978. It's also her birthday. I don't know where she is, but her name is Joanne McDonald. Also have a birthday today. So wherever it is, and I said in Jamaica, I hope, I don't know how much they're going to celebrate with the devastation, but God be with them, because I know all of us from St. Mary, because my friend said he grew up with him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where they are, but God bless them. Today is their birthday, and I'm sure that they're live. I never heard that they were dead. So my input.
Well, there you go. I think we're going to dedicate the birthday shout out segments to Shelma. Like, you just gather them all up and you call in and you just run them down for me, because you really look like you got a handle on this.
Yes,
so that's your assignment. Oh, look at Shelma. Look at there. We'll dedicate that segment, birthday shout outs, to Miss Shelma. Oh my goodness. It is so good to have audiences like Miss Shelma. Keeps us going, keeps us up to date, and pretty much anything in between. That was funny yesterday. But yes, she called just in time for the purpose of her call, birthday shout outs. And again, with all of those persons celebrating, even those that Michelle mentioned, and anyone that I may have overlooked, belated birthday greetings go out to Ozzy and Bob Watler. Yeah, I did reach out to Ozzy afterwards yesterday. And of course, as usual, they were out to dinner, not on island. They were having a blast, and he was very grateful. So kudos to Bob and Ozzy celebrating their birthday, and to everyone else that I may have not been aware of, but definitely Shelma keeps me in the loop and letting me know everybody who's having the birthdays this week. So it was perfect timing. So let's see who's here, who's commenting first. Marshall, good evening. And you were first to class. You were actually, now that I see you, Marshall, Jim has been too quiet. 5 weeks. This is the longest 5-week vacation I have ever heard of. And I am missing Jim. I'm really missing Jimbo here. We got another caller. Good evening, caller. You're live. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Sabrina. How are you today?
I am thankful. I am going to say fair, fine, fabulous, a few scattered clouds, but you know what? I'm thankful.
Well, that's always good to hear. Not just because it is positive, but also, you see, it's because it's positive.
We got it.
Is ever perfect.
We got to. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The other thing is, I think I should tell Miss Shelma my birthday, so that if nobody else wishes me a birthday, I can be sure she will wish me one.
Tell me when it is. Tell us when it is.
Well, I meant that as a joke, but since you ask, it is on 13th of May. So
okay. No, she can remember. Shelba's going to remember. Okay. 13th of May.
13th of May. So, yes. Now, it's good that you want to discuss a little bit about our constitution, democracy, the budget, and so on. There's one issue I just want to, I might have mentioned it a little bit in a call I made previously, but I just want to talk one issue. This arises out of the immigration bill and is just specifically the judiciary. That's the only one I want to talk about. Because a lot of people, like yesterday, I listened to
you were tuned in.
That discussion.
That was pretty deep yesterday.
I was tuned in for the whole time, really up to the very end, and you could see that people want to know about.
They're hungry. People.
What's the difference between a law? Yeah.
People are hungry, sir.
Yes, they want to do that, and I hope that I can share a little bit about the judiciary. You see, according to the proposals that have been made in the immigration bill, I don't know. I forget whether this is directly in the bill or it has been stated that it will be in the regulation. But anyway, it's a policy statement which has been announced, which is that not apply in the judiciary. That one really is a total disaster. You know what that means? That means that now the government has decided that there will be no Caymanians in the judiciary. Basically, that's what you're saying, because up to this point in time, I do not know, since I came to the Cayman Islands 2003, I do not know that there's ever been one single judge who is a Caymanian is of right. And when I say Caymanian is of right, I'm talking about people who either both parents or one parent is from Cayman, and so they don't get status. They are Caymanians is of right. That's what I'm talking about. There's not one I am aware of who has been appointed a judge. And remember that this is 35 years approximately since the establishment of Truman Borden Law School. And why was Truman Borden Law School established? It was to ensure that it can provide mainly, of course, lawyers, but yeah, to a place where people didn't have to go overseas and learn the law and become lawyers in their own jurisdiction. And yet 35 years after, you don't have one single Caymanian is all right. And then what does the government do? The government then says, well, there will be no rollover in government. So in other words, whenever a judge is appointed in the Cayman Islands, they can stay until they reach 70 years old. Because you remember, under the Constitution now, judges have got a lifetime appointment up to the time they are 70 years old. In government, I think they raised the age for retirement or for stoppage of pension contributions from 60 to 65. But the judiciary were able to work out this little nice deal for themselves to retire at 70. So what does it mean? It means that today, for example, you've got one judge, I won't call her name, who was appointed last year from the UK. It means that that person will stay in until they are 70 years old, even if you've got a local person who can take over those that position. It won't be possible, because that person now, so long as they want to stay, they can stay. Now, what is the reason that government has given? They have said, and that's what I want to drill down on. They have said it is because it would interfere with the independence of the judiciary if they allowed rollover to take place in government. That is practically a non-justification whatsoever. Let's talk about independence of the judiciary. Do you know, Sabrina, a lot of the judges who serve on the Court of Appeal in particular, they serve actually on a limited period of time. I have these statistics somewhere because I had to get them for some court case I had to do. They are appointed very often for only 5 years. And then after that, they can be renewed or they can't be renewed. How come it was never said that that is affecting the independence of the judiciary? Okay? And then you have very often in the Grand Court, sometimes in the Court of Appeal, but mainly in the Grand Court, you have judges who are acting judges. And they are acting judges because they come in from usually the UK, and they are appointed either for a particular case or just for a short period of time. But again, it has never been said, but you see, if they come in as acting judges, that the independence of the judiciary will be affected unless you can appoint them until they reach 70 years old, which is not practical in every case, because sometimes you just need relief judges. So do you see? So how would it fundamentally affect the judiciary if adversely affect the judiciary if you just say, well, if you come in as an expatriate, we will give you a period of time. After that, you have to leave because you have to open up the space for our local people. How does that differ from what they are already doing now? Do you see? So I do not see that the government, frankly, should have bought into this, because one of the things that is causing a problem among Caymanians, the way I read it, they are saying, look, how come the overwhelming majority of the people who judge us in a court of law, they are not local people? All of them, they are not local people. Yes, the jurors, most of them are local people because that's they are gotten from the electoral
That's
register.
how they're selected, yes.
So, that's how they are selected. So, I mean, if you wanted to solve this problem that you want Caymanians, to the extent possible, to be judged also by at least maybe 2-3 judges, maybe 4, who are Caymanian, this is not the way to solve it. You have now practically surrendered that whole part of the government to experts and other people who want to make a life in the Cayman Islands. Now, that is connected to something that has been making the news lately. And this is somebody who asked the judiciary, made an FOI request, Freedom of Information request, to the judiciary to say, can you give us the information which shows how many people were charged with gun crimes, the sentences they received, as well as whether they were local or they were foreign. So can you give us that information? Now, we all know why that information is necessary now. We know also for a fact that, generally speaking, young Caymanians, some of them very young, are going to jail for 10 years, some of them a little less, 7 years, some of them even up to 12 years for possession of a firearm. But meanwhile, an expert who comes in at the airport, or maybe it might be one of these investors who's building a house somewhere in Little Cayman or somewhere, they are fined, some of them $2,000. So how can you have one group of people, they are going to jail for anywhere from 7 to 12 years, and then the other group basically never go to jail? Okay? And this is the thing we already know as a fact. But this person, of course, who made the FOI request, what they wanted was they wanted the specific statistics to be given so that it can be starkly illustrated that there is a problem in the judicial system. Now, I believe that if you had Caymanian judges, and that's the connection between that and this issue, that may have been different. Maybe the Caymanian judges would have said, well, if the expert can get fined, then maybe this Caymanian, I should also apply a fine to them. But that is not happening because the people who are judging view Caymanians differently. So I would urge the government that what they are doing now, they are doing the opposite of what they should be doing. If anything, they should try to make special efforts to ensure that Caymanians get into the judiciary.
In the judiciary.
You know, there are two people. Yes, I will not call their names. There are two people I know in the Cayman Islands. They are both Caymanians as of right. Okay, and I think both of them should have been appointed judges, but they wound up being all acting magistrates, and now both of them are out of the judiciary. One of them left recently. The other one left much earlier, but they happen also both to be ladies. And to me, that is something that the judiciary really the government needs to look at. Remember what it means. How many branches of government, Sabrina, are there? There are 3 branches: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. And this policy, this policy is surrendering the judiciary to the expatriate community and saying, no, we do not want to govern ourselves from this third wing. We will govern from the other 2. Now, let me close on one point. You know, and the way to do it, if you want to change the whole system of appointing judges, well, not so much changing the system, is rather to get Caymanians into the system. You have to amend 2 acts. One, the Grand Court Act and the Summary Court Act. The Grand Court Act, I think, is section 16. It says that a person to be appointed a judge must have practical experience of at least 10 years. Okay. What you need to do is put a proviso in it to say, if a Caymanian qualifies and has 10 or more years experience, they must be appointed. They must be appointed even if there is another person from outside the country who has more than 10 years experience or who is better qualified. In other words, you are saying we are not going to have a special law requirement for Caymanians. No. It's the same requirement, 10 years or more. But if a Caymanian has, they should be considered first, and unless there is some problem with them, they should be appointed. That section needs to be amended. Then a similar amendment needs to be made to the Summary Court Act, which has a provision. I forget the section, but if you search for appointment, it should come up again, so that when magistrates apply, If there is a local person, they can be appointed. I know a lot of people who have applied for jobs, for example, portfolio of legal affairs, and they have put degrees and they've done the PPC, but they are doing administrative jobs or lower level legal jobs because they are never finding a place for them to be able to be slotted in. This really needs to be looked at. I do hope that when it comes up for debate, the whole immigration bill, they will be able to look at this. Okay, again, one last one, which is related to this, very brief. The police is the same thing, okay? Do not complain. Well, if about the judiciary, I'm saying, if the government does not effect some of these amendments which I'm proposing, then they should stop complaining that their own people are not judging the cases of their own people. Okay, and just like if you are a member of the public, a Caymanian, and you are supporting what the government is doing in relation to the judiciary to exempt them from rollover policy, then you shouldn't complain in future if you are sentenced. Exactly, when things go against you because the people who are judging you are not your own people, don't complain. So if you are justified in complaining, then you must tell the government that they shouldn't do this. Now, the police, very quickly. The police is the same thing. In the police, again, there's a talk that, well, you see, sometimes with our Jamaican brothers and sisters, sometimes we do have problems because they don't understand our culture. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, yes, that is true. Sometimes you are just a criminal and they have to arrest you. Okay. But sometimes, yes, there is some justification as to how people are treated. But again, don't complain if you are going to allow your government to exempt the police from the rollover policy. Because again, this is an area where you want as much as possible. If you can have maybe even 50% Caymanian, even 40% at the moment, Caymanians would be quite good because it is a partnership between the foreign officers and the local ones. It is a partnership. But at the moment, I think the Caymanians are having the short end of the stick. So those exemptions, in my view, would not be justified. I think that the government needs to respond to the complaints regarding the judiciary, regarding the police.
But do you think?
I should leave it there next time.
Do you think you ain't gonna exit just so quick? Hold on. Do you feel then that the main reason why a lot of persons are not speaking about these exemptions is because the very nature of what we're talking about? And again, one of the negatives against a small island development jurisdiction, meaning a small island country, that it's a delicate balance for those for those lawyers, Caymanian lawyers who want a stake in the game, and for what you've explained, that, you know, for all foreign national who are in the judiciary, once they're accepted in, they can be there until they're age 70. Where is succession planning for our very own who would probably see themselves for succession planning climbing up? How do they get in if the environment is pretty much inundated with these persons, that if they so choose to stay until 70, that's leaving no room for them? But on the other hand, you would have, and I'm quite sure if you ask this question out broadly, who would you want to actually see or oversee you? I'm being devil's advocate. Would you want your own there, or would you want someone who has no tie for fairness? It's a delicate balance, is what I'm saying, which is why I tied in this as a small island development state, which the Cayman Islands could be a negative for us in some of these areas. This is just for discussion purposes. It's not my opinion. I'm bringing it for discussion. Some people may actually not even want to do it. Caymanians may not even want to be in those positions, because everybody's family to one another. Some of the allegations that are even made against our current chief of police, Mr. Walton, is Kirk, is because he is so well known, everybody's family and all of that sort of stuff, that what is being alleged is that some of the hard calls that are having to be made, he can't do it because a lot of them are family members. It's alleged.
Yes, and I'm very grateful that you've brought up that issue. Because
I'm trying to tiptoe to be as respectful and polite, but have a meaningful discussion. So when you say about police exempted, judiciary is exempted, it is really a delicate balance because on one hand, oh, we want to protect it for our Caymanians. Oh, well, he's not going to do his job because that's his family. Where do you strike the balance?
Yeah, and that's a legitimate question. And if these proposals were to be considered, those are some of the issues I think government will have to look at, because every time when there's a proposal, you have to say, okay, fine, this is what is proposed, but what is the possible downside? And is that downside, like, does it justify us continuing to continue with this policy,
Fair.
or does it mean that we should, or does it mean that we should still effect the policy but put in a few safeguards? The first one is this: there is the issue of the jury, right?
Mm-hmm.
All juries are appointed from the local people.
Yeah, from the voters registration. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They are voted from the local people. So we are already dealing with a situation where a lot of the jurors will know, to some degree, will know the person who is accused. Now, of course, if they know them too intimately, they have to recuse themselves. But in other words, we are already dealing with a situation where this is already happening, and we can't avoid it really as a small jurisdiction. That's the first point. The second one is the one about they might not want to do that because, they might be accused that you've done this because this one is your relative and so on. Well, at the end of the day, the answer to that is we just have to live with it, because every society wants to be judged by its own.
Mm-hmm.
You go to America, yes, there are some immigrants judges here and there, but every country must be judged by its own. Now, it may be that the rate of recusing oneself, like a judge recusing
if it's just too close,
might be a little high.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's too close, it must be too high. Certainly in a small jurisdiction, that will happen more often. Why? Because we kind of all know each other more or less. But at the end of the day, that issue, Sabrina, applies also in government.
Mm-hmm.
People are elected in government. They are supposed to take decisions which are in the interest of the government, but still they have to deal with a cousin here who is applying for a license, for a planning permission. So it's just something. The response to that would be, we just have to live with it. But we must ensure that people understand
and
that if
trust
somebody
the
is too
system
close,
and their roles, that they can execute their duties and remove persons out of it, personalities out of it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then so I really believe that this is an area that the government should look at more carefully. There is a broader issue, of course, as well, which is that if you create a policy and then you've got too many exemptions, then
what's
you
the
might
sense?
find that
it's an open, it's open season.
It's open season. It's a little bit problematic, but I just think that what they've said now, which is that to exempt, that is extreme. Yeah, so it is something that the delicate balance, but at the moment they certainly have not got it right by saying that.
Exempt.
Well, that's
Thank you for your contribution, sir.
We'll talk again soon.
Welcome. Thank you for your opinion.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. There you have it. Yes, that was the second caller for this evening, and opinions matter. Ms. Marjorie, I see your comments, but everybody is welcome to speak their mind, and this is what we are participating here. All people are welcome, and many times it's educational information that he's sharing based on his background knowledge. You may not really like his tone of his voice, or I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, this space is for everyone, Miss Marjorie. So thank you for your understanding, in all honesty. Miss Lucille, good evening to you. Good evening, Sabrina. Michelle, your match. Join her with, yeah, she's going to be into the birthday shout outs department, Miss Lucille. She seems to have that down pat for sure. Hey, Denny, such an ignorant statement. I don't know what statement you were actually referring to. I would love to get you to weigh in on that comment because I need more context for it to align. Yeah. But just for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Sabrina Speaks. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. No guest today, just me and you. And thanks again for all the comments that I've received. Thank you all for showing up for all the calls as well that we've received thus far, and more informative educational discussion. And I stated that tomorrow is Parliament. That means this sitting could shape the Cayman's future, and we're paying attention, are we? So, and also there is an appeal for the King's Honor reads, I just got breaking news here, and you guys can go and research this, thanks to Forbes. Breaking news, Trump may strike Venezuela or remove President Nicolas Maduro from power, according to a new report. I'm not going into that, but yeah, if you hear stuff going off in the background, because as this go on other news sites, we will have breaking stuff coming up. So you would hear me oftentimes speak about national security and what's happening in the region, because we got people all over. And you know what? Let me be fair. Let me be fair. We got people from Costa Rica that is with us. Costa Rica that is here with us. Connie is from her cabin. She's listening. Mitzi Tomlinson from the beautiful, 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 beautiful way up north. Yes. And Paul, hey, Bermuda, how's light over there, Paul? Give us an update on the electricity and connections. Last time you commented with us, you said over 9,000 people were without electricity. How has the recovery post Melissa's passing been doing you guys over there in Bermuda? Yes, puero para vida. Gracias. You de nada, mi amiga. Yeah, I'm trying here. I'm trying. And Connie has a birthday. Oh, Shelma, if you missed this, Connie has a birthday on the 15th of November. Yeah, so we got to remember Connie's. And Mr. Balika is in May. May 13th is Balika, and Connie is on the 15th. Yeah, November is busy for me as well. We got Miss Ebanks. Nothing the government is doing is actually beneficial to Caymanians. Let's give this government a chance. Let's see what they do with this budget, because like I alluded to earlier on, tomorrow is November 5th, and the Parliament will convene to debate the national budget under this new NCFC administration. And this follows the October tabling, which we went through that in detail, of the strategic policy statement that we went through and saw what the priorities were. Both sides were able, the opposition was definitely able to share their concerns and debate and all that sort of stuff, what the government was putting forward. And in that strategic statement, which outlined the government's vision for a stronger, fairer, and braver country. And in this third meeting of 25-26 session of the Parliament, commencing tomorrow, members of Parliament, as we say, will deliberate and be able to see exactly what is being put forward, key matters shaping the island's future, including the 2026-2027 budget. And for all of you who follow them, you can it'll be streamed live on YouTube, Facebook, and CIG TV Logic, channel 23, and C3, channel 3, and also on Flow, channel 106. So you may be wondering, what does this blueprint mean for us? And this is where you pretty much compare the strategic policy statement, and you look at how they're going to fund it. Yeah, okay, Dan, thanks. You actually compare the two, to be honest, and this is a blueprint. Now that the budget is an action plan, it shows how the government intends to fund its priorities from January 26, 2026 to December 2028. Now, it is expected to be heavily debated on key issues like health, education. We could still call this NAU because I keep getting that acronym wrong. But definitely healthcare, the infrastructure, and overall cost of living. And the budget will also reveal whether promises made in the SPS are actually backed by real resources. Now, we have heard from the Minister of Finance himself, the Honourable Ralston Anglin, and Minister of Education, that this is the first time. What is being proposed is that Ministry of Health and Wellness will be adequately or more realistically funded because we've heard that there were 2 line items there that was always underfunded in order to just keep the country going and for them to direct funds in other directions, which made it kind of hard, to be honest, in that position to function. And even though there are other mechanisms under the law that Ministry of Health could go asking for more money, instead of adequately funding particular 2 line items, they have actually given it much more money this time. So kudos to the Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes. You will have much more to work with. And I hope that the people will see the impacts, positive impacts of you adequately being funded should this be accepted on the floor of Parliament. Now, we know the opposition will have questions. There were some allegations made in regards to the board of directors of HSA and how they were being remunerated. There are proposals and guardrails now that have been actually discussed that they're going to put in place so that if you feel that any ills had taken place, that will not be the case because of the allegations made. I took my time and I read through the legislation that governs these board meetings and all of that sort of stuff to show certain things. Those are in previous podcasts. But the opposition is there. Remember, they're your voice. When our elected members of Parliament go to Parliament, they are actually taking off that hat now from the civil service, and they're actually the voice of the people. You'll have the government that is presenting their plan. You have the opposition who's not holding the purse strings at this time, but they're still there to debate and advocate for their people who have elected them to serve, even though they do not sit on the cabinet side. So pretty much what you should be looking out for is our allocation, aligned with community needs, looking for, as I said, funding in areas, as we stated. We hear the great cry for housing, youth development, public health, safeguards, health overall, and the big discussion is still east-west arterial and dealing with our major roads and that sort of stuff. Is this going to be adequately funded? And then there are a number of projects that were started. Are they going to continue to be funded in order to meet the contractual demands? And what's new? What will chart the course for this government and still be in compliance with all of their requirements so that you don't get in trouble with the United Kingdom? Now, another thing you're going to be looking at is their transparency and accountability, listening for how members of Parliament justify spending and whether the opposition voices challenge for assumptions. So this is quite interesting. When you hear what is being presented, this is in the best interest of the people. These are the parameters that we have to work with, and this is why the Caymanians will benefit from it. And then the opposition can counter all of that. Now, as you sit and you watch these live briefings, you will see a lot of them possibly making notes. And where the numbers are concerned, it has to add up. A lot of information will probably be looking back at what was funded recently, understanding everything sets. There's a reset. Everything goes back to a reset of $0 come midnight, the 31st of December, 2025. And what they're about to debate on the floor of Parliament now, should it be passed? I have to say, should it be passed, because it has to be debated. Whatever numbers are agreed to then takes effect as of the 1st of January, 2026. Now, we see what's happening in the United States of America, where they're still running on fumes. We're seeing where air travel is having issues. We're seeing where national parks staff are pretty much volunteering. Certain services are not being done because of these national parks, because staff are not being paid. And these are some of the things, not by any means are we comparing the two, but we're just saying we don't want to be a replica of that. We're too small for that. We just need to look out in the best interests of the people, to be honest, and making sure that we can put our egos aside, that it is people-centric, that we are realistic, that it's sustainable, and that it wouldn't put us in any further debt. We saw where the member of the opposition had debated and had certain questions about borrowings and how much money is going to borrow. How can we borrow then and say that we're okay? because it's still a debt that has to be paid. So these are all of the things that your members of the opposition, whether or not you feel they're just there to talk, they're actually there to defend, to highlight certain things of what the sitting government may say, even though one may feel that they're only talking because they're not in the government sides or whatever reason you may have. You must understand their role as an opposition. The opposition is actually the government in waiting. They're there to actually counter. They're there to say, well, can you include us? Can you actually see that this is not just lopsided where only your government and your constituencies get taken care of? We see what is being alleged not so far away in the aftermath of Melissa. We don't want that here. And this is why lessons can be learnt with how we conduct ourselves in the floor of Parliament, how we actually debate this very, very important sitting of Parliament, and that it's inclusive. And it is very critical. So it is critical because if Parliament can't agree, this could delay services. You see where I'm going with this? It can stall projects. It could end up with charging the country, getting lawsuits and shake public confidence. And even with global instability, we're seeing what's happening with our weather. And I saw an article today where the ice now is melting at the fastest rate they've ever seen it in history. And it's actually blowing scientists' minds who are watching all of these big sheets of ice just melting at rapid speeds. And what that means is that we will continue to see sea level rises. And that here, for us living on an island, we should be concerned. So that's just from an environmental standpoint, or not to dilute environment standpoint by saying just, but those are some of the things that when we're thinking here in the Cayman Islands, that also should be on our forefront of our mind. Sustainable budgeting, sustainable development, not in its true fashion of the word definition of sustainable, but it covers all of these things. And then you hear where we're going into the digital platform. They're still lingering in the back of the AI and how we prepare our people. And global instability, we can see again with that breaking news that I just stated to you, what's happening right in our neck of the woods. And because of the amount of connection that we do have with the United States of America, that we heavily depend on food from, we're seeing where Jamaica was our other to go to jurisdiction where agriculture is concerned. And we've seen what just happened to them less than a week ago. So Cayman must show fiscal discipline, and most important from all of that, unity. Unity. And unity because of what is happening globally and its instability, and especially what's happening in the US. We see what's happening. And our budget process through, though it may be on a smaller scale, but huge for our per capita, it reflects democratic values and our local priorities. So these are key things that you look for that is critical, and why everyone should be listening. Everyone should be tuning in. I'm hoping that you are, and that for all of the shows that we've had previously, that it would have actually prepared you for things like this, so that key things that you hear, it will alert you, and it wouldn't be foreign, like how you're hearing things for the first time. It wouldn't take you as any surprise. Hey, Chisara, good evening. How are you? Oh, yes, listening. Thank you, Miss Marjorie. Hope it'll be quite interesting, but I will be as well. And quick synopsis based on how long it goes. I'll give you a synopsis of what I caught, because once I go live here, it's hard to really take notes, but then I'll give you a general caption the day after. So it'll be interesting. Paul, what are you saying? Island, pretty much back to normal in Bermuda. Yes, only 26 customers. Oh, really? Without electricity. Bermuda Air flew hurricane relief supplies down to Kingston, Jamaica today. Oh, bless your hearts. Well, definitely, as relief supplies continue to flow into the island of Jamaica, as they actually continue to navigate their way through this devastating hurricane, with what's in the media, it is still heart-wrenching is what I can say, to be honest, but thank you. Thank you for doing your part as a BOTC brother jurisdiction and sisters over there. That has your labeling on it, just like how the Cayman Islands has done their part. So it's quite good that we're joining in this effort here. Thank you for the updates. I'm hoping that we could say adieu to any tropical systems for the rest of this year. But it just goes back to exactly what we were talking about global warming and what we can do in our part as we continue to navigate life. Whether it's digital, whether it's bipartisan, neutral, respecting everybody's rights. When it comes to our environment, that's everybody's business. And just like you guys, and we're an island, and any sea level rises is going to impact us. And this is why we have to be careful with what we're doing with our environment. And I noticed a video coming out of Jamaica where, and I said it yesterday, about the channeling of these rivers, where you can actually train a river where to go, but yet then construction continues. And now we're seeing where the springs are coming up out of the ground. Mother Nature has a way of taking back what's its own. And we really just have to navigate around it as best as we can, sustainably and sensibly. And this is where now I think any future developments, coastal erosion, and all that sort of stuff, we need to listen to the experts. I think more and more now as islands, we really need to listen a little bit more. Yeah, so thank you for that update, Paul. Much appreciated. Barbara G, good evening to you, my sweet. How are you? Keith, the Caymanian people are depending on this government. Yep. I think we all are. They fail, we fail, Keith. I tell you that. And nobody wants them to fail because we want stability. Where everybody else is this color, that brand. Look, the Cayman Islands, we're doing good. We're doing good so far. And we got to just be here for the government. We just got to, it's a reflection of who we are. And this is why it's important for you to actually get your voice out there. The white paper is out there in regards to immigration reform. You're hearing how people who have attended meetings are feeling. And exactly their participation. There's an advocate, whether or not it's loud enough for it to be extended and not for something to be debated on this sitting of the House because of the 28-day public consultation for a number of reasons. And because people are saying we want to see the regulations that go hand in hand with this. So I can recall back during Beryl, Ida and Grace, to show you the difference in the Cayman Islands as being a sitting member of parliament at that time. I remember in the cleanup efforts, when we got emergency funding to assist in our respective constituencies, it wasn't just done by the government. The funding that was procured, was also extended to the opposition. And that was where I saw us as a total different jurisdiction. No one mattered whether you were red, green, purple, orange, yellow, or pink. When it came to getting our island clean up, understanding the devastation that we had to a lot of our farmers here as well, because one of them came specifically for fruit trees. But when it was aiding in the preparation for sandbags, even the distribution of lumber, plywood to cover windows, even the opposition was taken care of by that sitting administration. And when I see what's happening, I said, I'm proud. I'm proud of us as a people. I'm proud that we can actually do that. And it can be very obvious in times where you need your elected arm to stand up. We're all one. And everybody is looked at, everybody is taken care of. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that, my followers, that, my subscribers, speaks volumes of us here in the Cayman Islands. They can have their banter on the floor of Parliament. Remember, Parliament is adversarial. That's what it is. There is no steeple on the Parliament. But in certain decisions and in certain needs, no matter how they, as eloquent as they want, pretty much bark and curse at each other in their standing up for their constituencies, whether or not you feel their passion and call it ignorance or just a bag of wind, whatever description you want to use it. At the end of the day, when they are fighting for their people and a big decision nationally has to be made, I saw difference when we were cleaning up during that time. Good evening, caller. You're live. What's on your mind?
And you say one of the, I don't remember Hurricane Ida, but it was Grace come for the breadfruit.
One of them came for a lot of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Grace mother and family to Sandra, because she must have didn't want Sandra eat no more fried breadfruit. So she come for the breadfruit trees, but I remember near our breadfruit tree out in town when my shop, they had to
Sandra or Melissa?
Out from them and had to chop down, but mine never went. So Grace must have come for the breadfruit tree because she must have didn't. No, I said Grace must been come to Sandra because she didn't want Sandra eat no more breadfruit.
Oh.
Sandra like breadfruit.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure I understand.
That Grace most. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I bought around looking breadfruit, and I said, "But my tree, what's my tree? My time." But my time went down, but she got beat up bad, but she not down. She ugly, but she's still there. And I tell her, I said, they say, a good ugly old thing better than a new thing anytime.
What it only shall be. Is it a yellow? Is it a yellow heart? Is it a yellow heart breadfruit tree?
Yeah, you wouldn't think she bearing, and sometimes she put out wrong ones and whatever. Come look at her, she's ugly. And you come at her, they should say, but she loaded.
Oh my, nice. Better to advertise that too, but the rightful owners may come for it.
Good breadfruits, because some breadfruits are hard. But these are fresh breadfruits. When you fry them, when you fry them, put them down. A little while after that, you go back. You need horse feet or ox feet to eat them. But these ones, they're soft and good. They were everybody went high up and all that. Then were a tourist there, then everybody used to love them breadfruit, and you could eat them with nothing.
Aye.
You can put just a little butter on them or even nothing. They're very good breadfruit.
Yeah.
That tree was eat down by Air Force. What animal we had to put statue a bit the walls around her, but she made it up. She does a while, but she had to go. I think nothing on her. She got beat up by I-1. She got Paloma killer. But Grace never kill her. And now she's still in. Beryl never kill her, so she's still here.
I have an aunt that enjoys cooking, and she has found out a way of steaming the breadfruit and putting like the pickled pepper, like how you would do an escovitch sauce on it. And oh my God, that's delicious. And I've never tasted it before, where you actually stuff the breadfruit with, let's say, ackee and codfish or corned beef or some sort of meat or whatever, because maybe it didn't get me because I'm not really a meat eater, but that should really, really be delicious.
My friend, Biggie, well, she was in Florence, Barry, she used to do all kinds of different things with the breadfruit too. But the only thing I didn't like what they used to do, when the breadfruits were in, they would get a bunch and just peel them and then just hot the water and stick them down in the water like that. And then they would ziplock them and put them in the freezer. And all year long they would have, but I didn't like them after they went. After they went there the second day, I didn't like them. But they used to have food all the time, save them. And when it wasn't bread season, you could go out there and get a bag of breadfruit out of her freezer. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I love mine roasted. I love them outside where you get that taste of the wood that actually just comes through them. But we don't do that here. So I just pop it into the oven and bake it. And that's what I call roast. But I love when I go to like Jamaica, that sort of stuff, and it's done outside on a coal stove or wood. And you peel that.
What they call
caboose.
The cold pot.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like with the cold pot is when you're peeling them. After they couldn't, when you're peeling them, they get that black on the breadfruit, because I don't like to see the breadfruit black. Yeah. And it's hard to peel it after it roasts in wood and stuff like that. Correct. So you don't get that black. You got to be careful. A careful peel and keep wiping your hand and things. But I did it before, but I baked mine in the oven. Yeah. Yep. It's delicious. It's delicious. There we go. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. Fruit too.
Anyhow, I'll remember that you have a yellow heart breadfruit in your yard. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Mr. George, how are you? It's been a while. What's the new saying now? It's been a minute. I just don't understand that. It's like 6-7. Oops. There we go. I said that. Keith, what's up? If people continue to fill in land that was created to hold water, that is going to be the destruction of Cayman because of serious flooding. And that is why we need to make sure that legislation, I am going to please put the planning minister, I'm going to humbly ask that he actually look at planning laws, whoever that falls under. I'm quite sure it's going to be more than one ministry. Look at planning laws and see how that could be amended. District lands, that could be falling under the minister Nicholas as well, Honorable Nicholas DaCosta. But I got to double check that. Look into the legislation where it actually, even if it's public-private partnership. So when these new developments are being constructed, that the necessary runoffs, culverts, or whatever have you, channels, that once they're building in areas that are already in close proximity, have already been developed. There is no restrictions, I stand to be corrected, where developing land right now allows your neighbor or stops your neighbor from going X amount of block heights above yours. We have seen it happen. And it's creating basins in certain areas of our islands. And the only reason why that's being done is because the law is silent for any new development. So if you're really saying you're here and you're going to represent the people, even if it's joint partnership with the development and the people of the Cayman Islands, as long as it saves your people, I don't think the people would be against some sort of partnership that avoids them from being flooded. And I feel that is something that needs to be put in law, because the last time I checked, the law was very silent on it when it comes to developers. And I feel that the main reason why they go ahead and develop is because the legislation is silent on it, or have very little to nothing in it that holds one partially responsible for making sure that the necessary infrastructure works are put in place, like drains, lift stations, pumps, whatever is put in place for any new construction. And that's true representation, in my humble opinion. So whichever ministers that fall under, I think this country will salute you if something like that is entered into legislation, where the law, we explain what the law is, we explain what the regulations is. Once something is in law, and then the operational arm of it then says how it can be done. So I think that's something that would pretty much get you, you know how it go, low-hanging fruit, to say the least, but also would be loved equally in part by more the voters, because they will see that you really have a heart for them. And the developers, they want to develop. It's always a quid pro quo. You help me, I help you. We're not stopping you, but this is how we're going to partner to do this. That's sensible conversation. So it'll be interesting. Sonia, hi. It's good to see you. Blessed love, Sabrina. You too. That boy's getting big, I'm assuming, growing up fast. George, careful on bicycle riders. Early morning with purpose-built stick basket. There is a bicycle lanes on the new roads that are now being put in now. How much people actually pay those any mind? And I think those lines were outlined. And I can recall the present minister of roads, he actually had designated bicycle lanes going into the Eastern District. Now, how that can incorporate into existing roads without actually encroaching on personal property, I don't think that could be easily accomplished. But for everyone traversing our roads, we should be dealing with it cautiously. We have lost too much cyclists on the roads foolishly. And I know that there are advocates about that. And my thoughts go out to all of you who are become victims of this. We've had our very own that have been knocked off. When I'm saying own, prominent persons have been knocked off because of just reckless drivers. So when these lanes are there, saved by those orange things that they put in the middle of the road, you just need to educate them. I see a lot. Oh, kudos to Minister Jay and his team for doing those videos of how to use the roundabouts. Yeah, I've been seeing them popping up all over on YouTube, Facebook, and kudos to you for doing that. I'm seeing now when I do get out, I see a lot more people using their indicators, because I swear people didn't know what that little stick was on there. Yeah. I'm seeing people using their indicators in the roundabout, but the roundabout that's still giving a lot of trouble too. The one by the Bank of Butterfield CMB roundabout, the one right there by Jake Scott's, that's a disaster waiting to happen. The one by, as a matter of fact, is 3. The one across the road from the farmer's market, it's too close to these roundabouts. It's just too close to these roundabouts. And the one that's not so bad, but you got to watch, is the one by Ed's Plaza and A.L. Thompson's. Not so bad just before you enter the Bank of Butterfield roundabout. But the ones that are really problematic are the one that are those two, by the farmer's market and by the Bank of Butterfield CMB roundabout. Let me tell you something. I cringe. I try to avoid that area, to be honest. It's just my humble opinion, not being an engineer. But I have heard other people cry out for those intersections. So yeah, good for you guys in that. Yes, good evening. I am coming back after, oh, good. Oh, Speedy. Oh, I hope that you recover well, and all the best to you, Mr. Fullerton, retired police here. Thank you for your service, and always a big supporter here on our platform. We appreciate you and hope you recover. Your recovery goes well. Well, Shalma, tell Sandra if she was getting the breadfruit from Jamaica, they roast them all off. I see them was roasting them by the 10 and 12 after Melissa. Yeah, a lot of persons over there are actually eating, depending on what was blown down. I see them roasting them for true, and boiling bananas, green bananas, which is good for potassium, but everything in moderation. But right now, with everything that's going on, oof, my heart goes out to those people. Tartarian, we need to go back to building homes on stilts. If I get a little money, my house going on stilts. It's already in my house plans. 5 feet. Caymanian seems to forget. Yeah, it's true. We live on a small flat islands. Yeah, Tartarian, you're quite right. Long time gonna see you comment. And that reminds me, Tartarian, welcome back. Good to have you. Where's Aliano? Where's Aliano? He's either been lurking or something is up. Is he in the UK? Is he gone traveling? Is he on some vacation that doesn't have an expiry date like Jim? Because that's the longest 5 weeks I've ever seen in my life. Connie, you need to check on Jim. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Tartarian, you're quite right. Our older homes back in the day were all built on stilts. And now we see some of them, I don't know what you would call them now. Would it be pilings? Would it be pilings? You're seeing some of our houses, like there are a few along 1-2 and South Sound. They're scattered around the place that are actually elevated. And yeah, but if they don't go down to bedrock, and sometimes some people will say it's just so expensive to get engineers to go to put those big columns now that's going to be the core for the foundation. Okay, we could put out an APB for him. They're saying that engineers, that it's just going down to bedrock is so expensive. And then even when persons are able to fill up their lands with fill, then they have to then put a nice cement wall around it that could ultimately rechannel the flow of water. And again, because of us being a flat jurisdiction, that's going in somebody's yard or in the road. And this is why we need to rethink stormwater management. We need to look nationally at stormwater management and stormwater runoff. just because of how we are as a flat jurisdiction. Good evening, Annie. You are late to class, but always good to have you here, as usual. Connie says, girl, I can't find him anywhere. We got to put out an APB for him. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind this evening?
Good evening.
Should I put on my seatbelt?
Yes.
Oh, God. Let's go.
I'm just kidding. All right. So one of the issues with flooding on Grand Cayman is that the island, in a very significant portion of it, is like a bowl. So if you think about South Church Street, you think about Shamrock Road, if you think about the West Bay Road, those roads around the perimeter of the island were built on ridges. So if you think you get off of Shamrock Road and you're going in towards where the aggregate is in East End, you notice that you're going downhill. In other words, those roads are like the rim of a bowl. And the vast majority of our island is, well, down in the valley of that bowl.
You know what I noticed? When you're on Queens Highway, for example, you're onto something. When you're on Queens Highway and you try to think of even going round breakers after you come over the hill by Bodentown, where you enter Bodentown, for true, it comes honestly like a bowl. You're quite right.
Yeah. And so that makes water storm management a very difficult thing to do. So if one person were to build up their property, yes, that person's property will be elevated out of the water depending on how high they build it.
Right.
But see, what the problem is like, that Public Works will go out and blow out drains and stuff leading up to a storm.
Correct.
That, in some sense, that doesn't really help as much as people would think.
Because there's a water table is so high.
That's right. And so the person who builds up their property, while the planning regulations would say that you have to channel the water
a certain direction,
it runs off into a drain that's on your property. The problem is that water goes down the drain, joins the water table
that's already high,
and everything rises around.
And we know with the king moon, the king tides, what happens, that some of these drains that they have there right now are always having water in them, because even for mosquito treating, they have to actually put these larviciding into these drains, because some drains always have water.
Right. So what can be done about drains in or flooding in certain areas is unfortunately a very, very difficult thing to deal with.
I remember speaking to Eddie Thompson, and he was saying, you see, like how we got these huge roundabouts, you could create like a collection basin where you channel the water into this, like in these beautiful roundabouts, but it would be like tanks in them. And then you would pump that out after each, let's say we have a storm or just torrential rains, and that's channeling it away from the canals, away from the ocean, and in a collection, because since we have so much roundabouts that really are just now beautified, why not use them as catch basins, not to actually create, like when you come off the highway in the US, that you have these waterfalls outside of moving water, then it's a breeding ground for mosquitoes. We don't want that. But he had suggested in a previous conversation, a number of conversations, that is one of the suggestions as well in certain areas, because it's not like we don't have it, access to these roundabouts, with the exception of the mini one, but the Annahurst Road, forget that. But the big ones, just put big tanks that you can actually, that the water will flow there, and a lift station that pumps them that way.
Yeah. Well, without understanding what his goal is with those types of measures, it would be kind of hard for me to comment on that, because I wouldn't be able to say whether that would, like, what kind of benefit it is. Just thinking about it,
Right.
I don't know enough about
It
that.
was just a
particular
suggestion,
measure.
yeah. But yeah, he's into architecture and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, so I trust him. And
Yeah.
if we're trying to solve a problem until we get a wider plan, I was not against it. I thought it was a darn good idea, except pumping it into the dikes.
Yeah. I would have to hear his rationale for that measure in order to think about it.
Okay.
But there's been a development in the discussion that I've been having on air about the number of births for Caymanians. I was in touch with the General Registry today.
Oh, okay.
And so you've heard me quoting the number 860 of births for 2024. And that's a number that I got off of the internet.
Okay. And what's the number?
General Registry says the exact number is actually 753.
So wait, 86.
Well, I don't know if somebody did rounding or
Okay.
or what,
Nearest.
but
Okay.
yeah. But the point is, I want to clarify this statement.
Okay. Thank you.
And so that the thing that I was talking about when you comparing deaths and births and so forth, and use that as a measure. The data exists in databases locally, but so for deaths, the General Registry knows the total population death, but because the respective hospitals on the island does not forward to the General Registry identity documents as part of the death registration process, the information exists across the hospitals, but not centralized in General Registry. So,
but I thought I read something that was from immigration, where certain things are reported, but that was more births. It was more births, not deaths. You're quite right.
Well, I'm gonna talk about births as well.
Yeah.
And so the total births of 753 for the population, they don't have a report constructed that will tell you how many of that total is
Caymanian, which is what you brought up yesterday.
However, they do have a report that says the inverse. How many are non-Caymanian? so we can derive the answer
from that. You just do it the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. So of the 753 for 2024, the number of Caymanian babies that were born, those who have a right to be Caymanian, I should say, is 404 for last year.
Okay.
Since we can't parse the deaths, it's kind of hard to say what the net change is, but we do know that it's a somewhat positive change, but it's probably not as high as it ought to be. And so one of the things we need to focus on is that we need our economy to accommodate the concept of maintaining the local population. When I hear politicians talking about the great job that they're doing, if we're not able to have enough children to replace our population or even grow it slightly, I don't consider that success.
Now, Bear.
Because over a long enough period of time, that means that we disappear.
Now, there is a percentage of the non-Caymanians of that number that you quoted are possibly, or there's a good percentage that their parents probably is in the process of PR or waiting for status.
Yes.
If you see what I'm saying. So there is still a percentage of those that could be Caymanian in the making. Now, what that percentage is, there's still.
But you'd only count it at the time.
Yeah. So even so, of the 404, there is a percentage that it could be a little bit more for those variables that persons are still waiting or applications are still in for Caymanian status. And those mamas could have given birth to babies.
Yeah, but you wouldn't count. You wouldn't.
No, I know what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying that there's still hope. What I'm saying. Hey, look, there's a silver lining in everything. That's how I've looked at life.
Yeah. So I wanted to get those numbers.
Thank you for the clarification as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. Take care. Yeah.
Bye.
Yay, Keith. Yes, these stilts need to be very strong because of earthquakes. Thank you for that. And Keith also says, coming into Grand Cayman, this is based on what Denny was saying about the Cayman Islands, like in a bowl, a basin. Coming into Grand Cayman from the 12-mile bank that's going fishing towards Turtle Farm, you can see that Cayman is in a bowl surrounded by the ocean. This is concerning. And this is why when we hear the word, I thought it was my dog. When we hear the word sustainable and sustainable development, and then we hear the news of how fast these ice sheets are melting, and that it is inevitable that sea level rise is a fact going to impact the world, and we're living on an island. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And this is why there's a clarion call for those, you can call them tree lovers all you want, environmentalists. It's about a balance, but it doesn't take away from the fact that global warming is actually a real thing. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. You're live. Oh, Michelle.
Cayman is very low, you know. You want to see something? If you ever go to Honduras and you coming back here, because when I came on a boat, but I was seasick, and they were saying, I said, Jesus, we look like we're not going to never get them. They keep saying, come out and look out, come out and look out. We're in the side of the island now, the side. And I say the one, I keep looking, you know what Cayman look like coming from Honduras and in a boat like that, like a little palm tree.
Oh, wow.
Nothing. And I say, I don't see nothing. They say, see, that's a cheese on piece. I say, well, I mean, I had been here from when I was 9 years old, and then went on, come back in 73. But still, I thought you would have seen more, you know, of the island, because going from Rattan to Banaka on a boat, when you're inside the island, you could see a lot more than what you can see coming to Cayman. And then the water table in Cayman is very high, because that's why we got problem up in here. Because the water table up in here is very high. My bathroom flood out Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that's why I thinking I say and get myself food pump again, just as I go in, come back, because afraid of this pile of water. But
You know, there's something called a backflow valve that maybe $35, $40, and a plumber can install a backflow valve from the main pipe that comes from your house to your septic. And it's just splicing the pipe, putting this flap that should your septic rise because of tide, that it actually closes the flap so you don't have a backflow. That's why it's called a backflow valve. And it's an easy installation. It's easy installation for maybe 30, 35, if that much, but from A.L. Thompson's. Shameless plug.
If you're digging up in here, you're not going to dig very deep before you hit water.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That could solve your problems for having any form of backflow.
Plumbers, Sabrina, my brother was a number one plumber. But you get cobblers. They're telling you that's what I don't understand, because that's the problem. Now I don't understand who done the plumbing for this house, because I asked Bill with that, and he said, Mr. Jackson. But then they got my the pipes connect up, that the water from the washer, because when I had a bathtub, since I've been in this house, I had 2 bathtubs. I had one old one that had spring leak in the bottom, but we put in a marble tub. We had a marble tub for marble glass. When I changed my bathroom about a year now, we put in, they had to break that up, but that was a nice tub. That was big. They break it up and I got a shower. But the water from the washer comes in to the bathroom. It used to come into the tub, but the tub was high. That was high. Because if it had flooded that over, I would have dumped all the this down. But now the shower is lower. And if you put a large wash on, it overflow the bathroom. The water come up. And I go, yes. And then I don't know, you see, and this is the thing. I don't know who did it. I don't know who to get. And all of this. So and then people come, like I said, my brother went in, but only one person I know, but then they come and then they want to charge us big money and do things that, not because we were having one problem with the cesspool one time, and he was telling me I needed a cesspool. He went and made me get a loan from credit union and buy one of them precast. Mm-hmm. And when we call Hector Whitaker, I can call him because he's good friend with Bill. He had to come at the back with the lock that door because the mosquito truck was just out there, but mosquitoes out there. Sorry, but Hector said, Miss, you don't need no new cesspool. He said, all you need is a drain well. You don't have a drain well. And he dug that well for me. And we know, and then at the time, the people that it was Locksman and Lucille daughter that used to sell the her and her husband down in the area that sell the precast.
Precast.
They reimbursed me my money back. And I went, but he come to give me all kind of expense that I couldn't afford. But luckily that I was to the age then that I could have borrowed. But now I can't borrow nothing because too old. They think I'm dead.
Oh,
but
Lord.
I think coming back to Jim, I want to tell you, Norland, leave Jim alone. I don't put no tracker on Jim. Jim find his yellow rose and his treasure chest. So that's why he not coming. Worrying about talk show not coming back right now. Leave him out alone.
I will zip it and throw away the key. On the Jimbo. I'm going to leave it alone. I wonder
what happened to him too. I was hoping that he's not sick. I hope that he's okay.
Yes.
I said, Jim might been in a search of something and he found it. So he found it. I said his yellow rose and his treasure chest. So leave him out alone.
I got it locked. I got it locked.
Don't put no track in the race on him. When he's ready, he got to come back.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. I'm going to personally message Jim to make sure he's okay. I only going to say, Jim, I need proof of life. I just need proof. Is this you? Confirm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
more important things to do than calling that talk show.
Yeah. No. And Aliano, I don't know what's up. The last time I heard from Aliano, he says he chasing them bikinis.
He might be finding his pink rose.
He's cheap. Aliano's probably chasing bikinis.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, this is funny. Thank you so much. But double check that thing for the backflow valve. Bye. Sure. Yeah. There we have it. This is what I love with this space. We can go from very serious stuff to education to sharing of information and knowledge with one another, and then come right back around to talking about breadfruits, backflow valve. Yeah, I'm not a plumber, but yeah, I know it. It's very interesting. Yeah, and if I know it, I'm going to share it with you. Tartarian, okay, I get what you're saying. Connie, I'm not going there with you and Sheldon McCall. I'm not doing it. George, I have to find one of those because I had to make the soaker well deeper after Hurricane Ivan. Yeah, Mr. Fullerton, it's very easy to install. It all depends on how, once you find the mean that's coming from your house that's going to your septic, that's where the plumber does the installation. Now, the only thing is making sure that the part that goes, that the flap that opens, because it's a flap, you got to make sure now that they don't put it in wrong, because you don't want it to close from actually coming from your house. So you want to make sure that the part that's pointed to the house is the one that opens it, so that when it's coming from the septic, it closes it. So that's the only trick kicker. Yeah, but they're not expensive at all. knowing what it saves you, God forbid, and it pretty much removes, once installed properly, removes any backflows to your house. So this thing about hurricanes, remember we were taught to fill up the tubs with water, and people are saying, oh my gosh, but if I do that and the tide rises or the septic backflows, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Once you install a backflow valve, you can literally catch water in your tubs should we have a storm, because if it's installed correctly, yes, you wouldn't have to worry about it backflowing. Yeah, all you just need to make sure that your tub, your jacuzzi, whatever is sealed properly, and then that will that should actually do the trick for you. There you go. So yeah, Mr. George, A.L. Thompsons have them, and a good plumber, I'm quite sure you will know where to find one of those, will actually do it for you. Hi, Miss Dorothy. Good evening to you, my love. It's 6:30. Yes, half hour to go. Tartarian, when is the next town hall meeting on the immigration reform and where? I know last night they had one in the Eastern Districts, but if that was something that was supposed to be tabled to the House of Parliament, I'm not so sure if that was the last meeting. I'm being very honest with you, Tartarian. I know they had one last evening in Northside and East End. I really don't know where the next one is, to be honest. You're more than welcome, Mr. George. Now let's turn our... Oh, another breaking news here. UPS plane crashes near Louisiana airport, police responding to injuries. So UPS, that's breaking news, just come in here alive. UPS plane crashes near Louisville Airport. Police are responding to these injuries. More again, as I get it. I'm not going to go into details because I get breaking news, not only locally, but also there's some other stuff too I'm seeing. What else am I seeing? As I get them here, I will be sharing them with you as well. And oh, look, there's a wallet. If you go on the CMR page, there is a wallet with CM on it. Let me try to see. That they're trying to reunite this wallet that's been found. CMR News, go if you're on the CMR WhatsApp page, you need to go there. And there's a missing dog reported as well in West Bay area. What a cutie pie. Looks like an older dog. That's a senior dog. Yeah. So yeah, that and some more. There's even a cat that's missing. OMG. But yeah, there we go. So I want to Kentucky Airport. Yeah, see, I'm getting all, even on BBC. Live updates. Cargo plane reportedly crashes in the U.S. city of Louisville in Kentucky. Local police say injuries reported in Kentucky, and there is fire and debris on the scene. Injuries reported after, yeah. So this is live, and it's coming in as we speak. So much more on that definitely after our show, because you don't want to lose an opportunity. You know what's happening next here in the Cayman Islands. Let me put this up so that you can see. Let's see who we can actually get on here. The image that you're seeing me have there is the honoring Cayman's heroes and the King birthday honors. I had to change that. Thank you, Keith. It was always there. It was always there. You just took time to know the true Sabrina now on this spot. That's a kind compliment. It was always there, my love. Trust me. Trust me. It was always there. Let's talk about honoring Cayman's heroes, kings on birthday honors. Let's talk about this. And let's see who we can honor. Because you heard me talk about David Beckham. Oh, yeah. We got our own Beckhams here. But you got to get involved as Caymanians. Now, not just a kind that comes with medals, you know, and titles, but the kind that lives in quiet service, bold leadership, and everyday excellence. Yeah. You know somebody that has those characteristics? Yeah. Her Excellency the Governor has opened nomination for the King's birthday honors. And this is your chance to recognize Caymanians who've made a real difference, whether through community work, public service, education, health, the arts, or simply showing moral courage when it mattered most. Now, we've known in recent years, and I did some digging, we've had some incredible recipients. Let me go back here. Back in, we had Mr. James Truman Watler, MBE, Civil Service. Let me get this off the screen, this breaking news. Civil service and former CSA president. We got back Mr. Garth Arch as well, who was awarded an MBE for youth services chairman. He was a chairman in Kay's Foundation. And we got the likes of Miss Sue Doak back in 2024. Nurse Sue, as everybody knows her. I worked with her. Oh, what a sweetheart she is. She still is a sweetheart. She was in the field and contributed to health. She's a midwife, 45 years of service, and she was recognized with an MBE for that. And then we got our own former Derek Byrne in 2024 for law enforcement. He was a former commissioner of police. And my music teacher back in middle school, yeah, that's how long Miss McConvey has been here. In 2025, music education, head of music at John Gray High School. And we got also in most recently, Loxley E.M. Banks, who is our very own, one of our veterans. He was awarded an MBE for broadcasting, former director of Radio Cayman. So the opportunity has presented itself again. These are, as I said, not just awards. They're affirmations of who we are and what we value. And you know that just earlier today, David Beckham was knighted by King Charles III. And for all of you football fans, he was recognized for his charity work and his role as cultural ambassador and his ability to unite people across divides just because of this God-given talent that he has. And that knighthood, here's an image that I have. Yeah, there we have it. Thanks to BBC. That knighthood places him not just in the spotlight, but in the history books. So I ask you, Cayman, I ask you, I'm pleading you, who are our Beckhams? Who are our nurses, our nurses? Nominate someone and shine a light on them, because the deadline, is going to be November 20th. And because, like I said at the beginning, I repeat this for emphasis, honor isn't just given, it's earned. And it's time that we celebrate those who've earned it right here in our very own home. I will be sharing with you the nominations link. Let me copy this link for you. I will be sharing this link for you. And after this podcast, I'll also share it. But the way you can also do it for more information, this field, what we're doing here now, spans from fields such as community and voluntary service, arts, media, health, education, science, sports, business, civil service. And pretty much here in the Cayman Islands, anyone can submit a nomination. And that link that I just shared with you, you can find the nomination forms and guidance right there. That is a live link. As I said, the deadline is the 20th of November for the submission of, you can submit those nominations to the governor's office. You can also email the governor's office, and all of that information will be there. governorsoffice.cayman@fcdo.gov.uk. You can also drop off in person. You can drop them off at the reception desk at the Government Administration Building right here on Elgin Avenue. And you can even post them. Yeah, I found that quite interesting. By post. Governor's Office, Suite 101, Government Administration Building, Elgin Avenue, right here, Grand Cayman. So, yeah, we can find our own Beckhams and just show our appreciation for those who are around us. There we go. This is beautiful, huh? How much people you think you can get that to do that? And log on so that we can get the latest there. Keep getting. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we want to make sure that we acknowledge our people and do our part. Just switching gears because time is going with us this evening. And I thank you for your feedback. I thank you for your contribution. And for those of you who wanted to see what I was talking about, Keith actually made a statement. Sabrina, now that you are no longer a politician, I find you to be the sweetest soul ever. Thank you. Melt my little cotton socks. Thank you. It was always there, though, Keith. always there. That role brings out a part in you that, oh, good God, but that's another chapter. And I'm glad I served. It was a noble calling, Keith, but thank you. Thank you so much. Now let's look at the hand, foot, and mouth disease. And just a tidbit for all of you who we have 2 cases here. Now, this is not run for the hills. It just means we need to be very cautious when we go out now. Pay a little bit more attention with our little ones in the daycares, that sort of stuff. Hand washing, make sure that should be a norm. We should actually be doing that from COVID. Constantly washing your hands, wiping surfaces. I still look for the wet ones when I go to the supermarket and I pull the cart. I still look for those and clean the cart and around it. I'm not a germaphobe. I'm just conscious. And it is flu season now that's coming up, but now we know kids, because this particular virus is very prominent in kids. We know that Halloween just passed and the kids were out there playing with toys and that sort of stuff. But 2 confirmed cases have been confirmed in our daycares. And I thought it was important for me to just highlight this on this forum here, because our public health department has confirmed 2 cases of the hand and foot mouth disease here in Cayman. And it is a viral illness that is mostly affecting children under 10. And it is caused by a virus that leads to fever, some sore throat, and painful at times blisters that can be seen on the hands, feet, and inside the mouth at times. Of course, the little ones playing with toys and always, it happens. Now, it is highly contagious, okay? It's highly contagious, especially in schools and daycare settings. So this is the time now that all those those Clorox wipes that they were asking for in schools, now you see where it helps. And something that can sanitize desks, doorknobs, faucets, light switches, that sort of stuff. You want to make sure that you do that. And especially the toys and stuff. Now we got to make sure that this is confirmed, that the necessary precaution is taken. And how you can prevent this is washing hands very frequently, especially after, in this case with babies, diaper changes or bathroom uses. And you can disinfect surfaces and toys very regularly. And even if your kid doesn't go to an institution where this outbreak actually costs, this is now a time for you to just bolster up on it anyhow in your homes, because it's the flu season. And if you're out any public places, if you're traveling in airports, public transport, that sort of stuff, we're not saying, be scornful of everything, but just be cognizant of you touching your face and stuff, your eyes, once you're out in public spaces. So disinfect surfaces and toys regularly and keep sick children home. Now, even if it isn't for this virus, it's the same principle that should apply should you see them coming home with a fever, sore throat, runny nose, especially. Once they have symptoms or signs of these things, please, for God's sake, keep your kids home. I know it's easier said than done because some of us, in many cases, do not have alternate childcare arrangements. But with the flexibility of a number of our employers that actually allow you to work from home, this is a time that you want to use that. Because that we can keep the spread of flu, colds, any viruses, if we be responsible. And for the purpose of this particular highlight here of this public health warning or notice, for the little ones especially, coming back after the summer holidays, we usually expect some flus, even stomach viruses where they will have a runny stomach, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. Sometimes it is quite common because they were out of that space for 6 weeks. And then they all come back from their own surroundings. Many may have traveled. They may have picked up a bug, that sort of stuff. And kids will be kids. Play dates, birthday parties, that sort of stuff. Kids will be kids. Just make sure you constantly sanitize their hands, their toys. Everybody knows they have a favorite toy. or if they're constantly on a device, you make sure you wipe it off with your Kleenex wipes, or easy peasy, a little spray bottle with some alcohol. And there's a germ fighter, shameless plug to Island Naturals. They have a germ fighter thing that you put in your diffuser. Put a couple drops of that into your alcohol, and it smells amazing. And that's a disinfectant. That's a disinfectant. And you can just do that, and even your phone and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So we said infants and young children are most vulnerable to this, and adults as well. Don't limit yourself. Can carry the virus, but without symptoms. So the key here is community awareness, and thanks to the public health for putting this out, even though they did it as a warning, because leading up to Halloween and knowing kids would be out exchanging candies, that sort of stuff. Now that we got 2 confirmed cases, I think their warning was timing. Their warning was very timely, and yeah, I just thought it was important for me to shine the light on that with you this evening. So yeah, we got 2 confirmed cases. We noticed where one particular supermarket, I'll leave that for right now, but I salute you. The gentleman is there. I got told that someone went to the supermarket last night, and there was a gentleman there spraying off the handles of the cart. And I applaud them for that. You know what? Why not? This is a public health awareness. Fosters. Yes, there was a gentleman there last night cleaning off the hands of the carts. So there we have it. But that is something that we all have a responsibility to do. I know I've gone to Kirk Supermarket, and they always have the thing. And even the Fosters, Cayman Bay as well. They have the towelettes there, the disinfectant wipes. They have it right there as you enter the door, and for you to sanitize these things. So these are things that you actually want to constantly be aware of. And yeah, there we have it. We were seeing where some other, let's see what else we got here for you. Remember, Remembrance Day Parade and Ceremony is happening on the 9th of November. Please, you want to go out and represent. You wearing your poppy? Did you get your poppy? Did you give them a donation? I hope that you all go out and you actually celebrate with this occasion. I did confirm my attendance this year. It starts at 10:45 in the morning, and it is pause, reflect, and remember. Join the Cayman Islands in honoring our veterans on Remembrance Day, Sunday the 9th of November at 10:45 in Georgetown and Cayman Brac. Now, this will be live stream on CIG's Facebook and YouTube channels. For those of you who are like, I'm just going to take the holiday, kick off my early Christmas shopping, be it groceries, so that you can sort out yourself. Yeah, some people maybe say, what are you talking about? It's only the 9th of November. I love the holidays. I love the holidays very, very much. So yeah, you want to just go out and just show our part. Big kudos to Shadden and Andrew McLaughlin there, who spearhead this. Mr. Banks will be seen. He's somewhere here, one of our heroes there. So let me see if I can save this image so that I can put up here that it actually sticks home with you. Yeah. And relief efforts. Remember, the relief efforts continue for Jamaica as well. 936. What's on your mind? 936-8255 is the number to call in and participate if you want. There we go. So that's what I was reading. The Remembrance Sunday Parade ceremony on the 9th, 10:45. Understand why you're actually wearing the poppy, and you will see some of our brave men who went and fought for us, because they matter and we remember them. So yeah, there we have it. So tomorrow, now remember, for those of you who are just joining us, tomorrow Parliament is meeting again, and this is for their, I'm going to come to you, Miss Marjorie. This is for their budget, for the country's national budget. So they're going to join in live on all of those Facebook channels. They're always flexible. Mr. George, you're always flexible. I first knew you. Oh, okay. Yep. You got to be in the know, Mr. Fullerton. Marjorie, I would like to nominate Dr. Eugene Foley. Please, would he qualify? Of course. He's under one of those parts, under health. Yes, he would. I shared the link there, Miss Marjorie, so that will give you all of the instructions. It says, honors span fields such as community and voluntary services. And then arts, media, health, that's where he would fall. And then if there's a teacher, science, sports, business, and civil service. So it could be a past civil servant. It could be someone in the arts, be it an artist, a musician, somebody like that, media, like how Mr. Banks got it for Radio Cayman, and health, like how Miss Sue was nominated because of her contribution to midwifery. In his case, as an ophthalmologist. So yeah, if you're that strong, then you want to nominate him for what he's done here. I know he has a lot of patience, and maybe this is a clarion call to see if he can get more than one nomination. There we go. So, but the deadline is the 20th. I've shared the link, Miss Marjorie, and there you have it. So you got all of the instructions there for you. And if it's anything and you need to print off the thing, it can also be dropped off. Your nomination can be dropped off in person. That's at the desk at the Government Administration Building. So there you have it. Yeah. So we've had a very interesting week as we have all of these relief efforts that continues here. And I have to make sure that I share this with you because it continues. The men and women and families in Jamaica continue to actually feel the brunt, the aftermath, as Melissa has impacted them. And I know that this is widely spoken of. And for those who have immediate family who have been impacted by this hits a different chord altogether. And as the days go by, and we are seeing where this whole thing unfolds and reality becomes a reality. We're seeing people that are getting tired, people that are getting hungry. But the resilience that I have been seeing based on the videos that have been shared by our bloggers and podcasters, international media houses is amazing because these people are hungry. These people are begging for clean water just to drink and to refresh themselves, but yet they still have a smile and they're giving thanks to God. And, as each day goes by and it becomes a reality, our thoughts and prayers are with them. And I really hope that the people in this case are central to recovery. Yes, Michelle, you're live.
I see the Carnival Horizon cruise ship. Then in there with supplies today. I see I forget what the authorities their name shaking the captain's hand and thanking him, and he tell them anytime and whatever, and they were loading off a whole heap of stuff off of the cruise ship. Yeah, Carnival. And while I was saying about come back to breadfruit tree, I got about 4 or 5 breadfruit trees that sprouted out there that I need to get up from out there because one of them too close to my house. Well, most of them close, and I afraid that the bus up. Like I had tell Sandra that must have tell that farm be confirmed when they were talking because they good breadfruit trees. Many people used to be asking me about if I never had no breadfruit trees sprout up, but a lot had sprout up, and I used to like root them up and throw them away. And that guy Brantley, the plum man, I'll try and get on to him, but I lose his number coming here. I come sell me plum. He get breadfruit, and he said, Michelle, they were the best breadfruit. He said, I got them all, but he get the most of them had ripe off, they stopped, whatever, out of waste, and nobody wasn't coming for them. And I don't people tell me about could sell them. I say, and I'm selling that, and I give people one time, Miss Elizabeth come, and she had get 15. But I was telling people come, then after the ripe off, then they were asking and stuff, and I won't take them out there. You either tell me must plant another one and the yard fence that one, kind of beat up to save it, but I don't know. And then, but they're big. And then breadfruit, that size breadfruit tree and things like that, agriculture sells them for a lot of money. So anybody that want breadfruit tree, because they sprout off of this tree, so I would say, well, there's a same breed like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very breadfruit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't be big how they used to, because then people used to tell me these not breadfruit, these football bats. They still be good breadfruit, but they used to be huge. Huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One Canadian man that were renting from Arlene Costa, he used to say, these not breadfruit, these are footballs. And him and his wife got them to him. And he said they used to freeze them. They had love them.
Right.
I said, get all you want. All there. But Gayton, all them, I used to give breadfruit there. But I love them.
Nice. Right.
Say you. Megan used to carry them now higher. They used to be them Jamaican that work. And all of her used to be killing her from. They good breadfruit.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. But they were good. And the trees they just good size, I would say, to plant now. They, you're not got to worry about them.
Right.
Putting on no thing, because I guess once they get them rooted up. But I told Miss Elizabeth, I said, come get them. And I got coconut trees too. They're them big nuts. And I used to keep the coconuts in one wheelbarrow out there. And that's funny, you got to see a whole bunch of coconut trees up in that. And then on the ground, they just formed down in a wheelbarrow. So I was going to make the gardener when he come down from, because she claims she coming from too. And there's good coconut trees.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
I got one down the back, and I don't know if I want more. Because I don't want to plant too much down the back there, because that's this property is 2 house lots, and I don't know what, because for my children, I don't know what they would want to build, and then I don't know where to put them, and if they put them too much, because I got a mahogany tree down in the middle there, but I guess if they go build anything, they probably have to take that up. But that's hard to hear about mahogany. Gladwin had planted that for me there. Yeah. And a mahogany tree is good, because mahogany wood is good wood.
Yep. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to wrap up here now for the evening. Thank you so much, as usual.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have a good evening.
And anybody want breadfruit tree, if you hear they want, they can come and get.
All right. I'm quite sure they're hearing. Thank you. There you go. So Michelle says she has breadfruit trees in her yellow heart. Breadfruit. Yeah. We want to let you know that there's an image that I have here. There's a reason why I'm posting it, because there are a lot of persons who are trying to capitalize on this situation here in Jamaica. And you will see me posting this stuff here for you. There's a reason why I'm posting it with these live links. So I want to make sure that you get, when you are donating, that you're donating to the right sources, and you're not donating someone who's going to personally capitalize off of what you're doing. So make sure that when you are actually doing donations, that you do it from a trusted source. And Connie says, yes, it's so sad. Oh my God, I could not sleep Saturday night. I cried after watching the news. Yeah, it is quite sad, Connie. And, it's going to take a long time to get this back, but what will be required is unity. That's what I'm taking away, and I'll leave it there. But there we have come to an end of another episode of Sabrina Speaks. I hope that you were again as engaged, informed, and of the happenings that is happening around us, from breaking news to what's happening in our waters. The tensions continue to rise over there within Venezuela, and that's right on our doorsteps. And I'm hoping that that does not become a reality. I'm praying to God as we're trying to see the tail end of a very destructive hurricane, and we don't need any more issues, not less to say a war. Now, one may say that's in the Eastern Caribbean, but look, not where we're from. This is a region of peace. And when sovereignty is being questioned, we just need to keep awake. And, we saw too where, despite everything, did you see the news that Venezuela even gave donations to Jamaica? Yeah, they flew in a huge plane over there, and they donated goods as well. It speaks volumes of when, despite everything, removing politics aside, which goes back to what I said of our own elected MPs, and politics, put that aside. Despite everything, despite what you think of Venezuela, and I'm quite sure they didn't just fall out of the sky. They had to get clearance to land, but they delivered goods. They delivered supplies. Contrary to what is going on in the geopolitical sphere of things, they showed up for their brothers and their sisters in the Caribbean, because that's one thing you can't take away from us. It has been a pleasure bringing you another episode again of Sabrina Speaks. You are the reason that I show up. Your participation values. It is the bedrock of the continuity of this show, of this platform. Your contributions, your ideas, your feedback, your knowledge, put it together into space. We dissect it, we educate each other, because that is what strengthens a nation. And no one should hold information. And your voice matters. Your opinion matters here. And that's what I love with us as we continue. I'm seeing us getting out of our shells. I'm seeing our society coming out of our shells, being a little bit more vocal on this platform. I thank you. I'm not going to give up. I tell you, I got hope. One thing, I got hope. And I know eventually we will be able to speak freely and less intimidated as we continue to build a space. Mr. George, yes, but Mr. Trump won't like it. There's power in numbers. That's all I got to say. And for all that's happening, unity is key. We're all our brothers and sisters keepers. That's a wrap for this evening. Please, please, please take care of yourself. Be safe on the roads. And until tomorrow, have a safe and fabulous Tuesday evening. God bless. Love you lots. I'm on the quest to find Jim Aliano. Yes, I'm on the quest to find them. Take care. Have a good evening.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.